and welcome to another episode of Pillow Talk with Kate Eipel, yours truly. I'm honored to be here because today is a real juicy episode. We're going to be talking about the erotic blueprints. Hello. It's time for some breath work before we get into learning about the exotic blueprints, which are one of my favorite things to learn about. We're going to do the prosperity kriya to start with. So you're going to take your left hand and bring the index finger and thumb together, let it rest on your left hand, and it stays there the whole time. This kriya is about alternating breath. So first we're going to inhale through the left nostril, plugging our right with our right thumb. And we're going to inhale for 4 counts of saying Sat Nam, but in your head. You don't say it out loud, you just repeat it in your head 4 times. And Sat Nam translates to I am truth, or truth is my essence. I like truth is my essence because it sounds a little bit more mystical, but most people will commonly say that it means I am truth, which is also beautiful and accurate. Alright, you're welcome to follow me. I won't be saying the 4 times that I count. You're welcome to look at me while I do it. Preferably you close the eyes and roll them up and back down towards the spine like you're swallowing your eyes. And we're going to go for 2 minutes, and I'm actually going to set a timer this time. Deep breath in through the left nostril. Exhale, empty out the left nostril completely, still plugging the right with your thumb. Move the thumb over, plug the left nostril, inhale, Sat Nam 4 times. Exhale completely. Out of the right nostril only. Switch. Plug the right, inhale to the left. Alternating nostrils as soon as you exhale out. Inhaling through 1, exhaling all the way out through the same, and then switch. Empty out your breath wherever you are. Bring both hands down to your knees. Bring the right index finger and the right thumb to touch. Take a deep breath in. Really allow the ribcage to expand. Taking the biggest breath you've taken all day. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open the mouth, exhale, let it go. Inhale, reach the hands up above the head, bring the thumbs to touch. Inhale, point the shoulders up, exhale, draw the shoulders down the spine. One more deep breath in. Exhale, guide the hands to heart center. Satnam. You guys, check it out. I'm wearing jeans. I think this is the first time in all quarantine that I've worn jeans since I've been trapped inside. So I got dressed up for you. That's what that means. Jeans is when I get dressed up fancy. We have one hell of an episode. It's pretty juicy. We're going to talk about our erotic blueprints and what that means, how we like to be turned on, how we express ourselves in our physical intimacy, and how we wish to be treated in that physical intimacy. Let's get ready to party! Erotic Blueprints. It was created by Jaya, who's a schematic sexologist, and she has over 20 years of experience. And what she did is she compiled all of her research, all of her knowledge, and found that there are 5 main categories that people identify with on the sexual level, and it's like their sexual love language. That's what your erotic blueprint is. It's how you express yourself in the sexual way. What's your sexual style? What do you like? So her 5 categories are energetic, sensual, sexual, kinky, and shapeshifter. That one sounds like fun. Your erotic blueprint can change throughout your life depending on what you're going through, and just as you evolve, your love language will evolve, and so will your erotic blueprint. Nothing is permanent. Everything's in flux, right? Just give a little brief synopsis of each one. For the energetic, they get aroused by space. And I don't mean space like outer space, I mean space like physical space. It's more about the idea of sex. It's about the play, the game leading up to sex. It's like, as an energetic, like if you just like allude to sex, I'm on it. If you're an energetic blueprint, you most likely enjoy a lot of foreplay. He's just like tempting the fuck out of me. You probably like to experiment with some like different toys, new positions. Like you're pretty much just like down to play and explore as an energetic. You have this energy, that's why it's energetic. You like the physical touch, but you don't want too much too soon, because too much is overwhelming and it's a turn off. It's like you're like a cat. Like you want to be pet, but you also don't want to be picked up off the floor and like cradled like a baby. Cause then you're like, oh, this was fun, you were petting me, and now you're like all over hugging me. It's too much. So with an energetic, it's almost like less is more, because it leaves them craving more. I'm an energetic, totally do appreciate the foreplay. My philosophy has always been the more you give, the more you'll receive. And I take note of that stuff in my partners. And I make sure that like they are compensated for the time that they spend. I feel like that's fair. Going on to sensual, they're aroused by their senses. So touch, sight, smell, taste. It's about bringing the beauty and comfort in. A sensual type, they like to create the environment. You know, have mood lighting, candles. My candle's burnt out. Oh well. They were going. Having candles, mood lighting, you know, rose petals, really making the scene like super romantic. And the worst fear for a sensual erotic blueprint is getting caught in your head, because you're like, oh, how do I look? Am I doing this right? A sensual person is gonna need to feel relaxed before they can open up sexually. If they don't feel relaxed and they're in their head, it's not gonna be an enjoyable experience for them, because they're going to be trying to create a show in their mind. So you really want to make sure if your partner is sensual that they are relaxed, they're comfortable before you start being physically intimate. It'll be a better experience for them and of course for you. I used to be a sensual type, and I was dating someone at the time who also was a sensual type. It was a long distance relationship. So when we met up, we would always make sure like just whatever we did was special quality time. Or when you have a long distance relationship, you really want to, you just maximize the time you have together. He had told me that he had a surprise for me, and I told him that I had a surprise for him. I bought new lingerie. I had a black trench coat that I actually got with him, some like really nice heels. So my surprise, I was driving up to see him. I wore most of the ensemble, like the underneath lingerie stuff. I just put like underneath, and I put my regular like street clothes on top of it. And then when I got closer to his place, I found a rest stop. This is totally Midwest life. I found a rest stop. I suited up in the bathroom, and like I put my stockings on and my garter belts, and I put the shoes on and my trench coat. When I got there, he came outside. He had a dog, and he had brought the dog outside. The dog was so happy to see me. It was super, 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 super windy. And so when I got out, he like opened the door for me, and we hugged and we kissed. He's like, "So what's your surprise?" And then the wind blew, and then the dog, beautiful golden, jumped up on my jacket and like pushed it with his nose, so like even more of my lingerie was showing. And then I just saw like my boyfriend's face like jaw drop, and he was like, "What?" He's like, "You drove up here like that?" I was like, "Well, yeah, because that's like part of the like sexiness to it. It's like I knew I was gonna see you today, and like I wanted to like surprise you, and this is part of it." He's like, "This just goes so well with my surprise." We get into his apartment, and he opens the bedroom door. Had lit candles all over the room and put black silk sheets on the bed. I had rose petals all over the room. So both of us had planned this sensual style experience, and we didn't know that we were planning it, which was really great because his surprise meshed so well with mine. Moving on to the next type, sexual erotic blueprint. Very self-explanatory. The idea of intercourse and penetration turns you on. It's kind of like a hit it and quit it kind of deal. Not necessarily, but with a sexual erotic blueprint, they don't need a lot of foreplay, and they really just want to get to the penetration. That's all I can really say about that. And with the kinky, alright, so speaking of shoes, can we just take a moment to honor this shoe? Like, look at that. It's completely ripped. I don't think there's not a safe way for me to fix that. These girls have gotten me through 10 years. They were my kinky shoes. I just called them my sex shoes. But all good things have to come to an end, right? Rest in peace. There tends to be some shame around it, and especially with our culture, it's been stigmatized for a very long time. And people think that when you hear kink, it automatically goes to the extremes, where you think of like dungeons and being chained to things and being locked in cages. That could be part of it, but that is not only kink. Like, that is what I consider more on the like extreme end of kink. But kink is things like being tied up with like handcuffs, being held down. Some people are turned on by choking. And it's very important that if your partner identifies with the kink blueprint that you have an open mind. And it doesn't mean that, like, oh, because they're into all this stuff that you have to do it too, but don't criticize them right away when they're telling you this. And don't put a judgment on it. Just come from an open mind and hear it out. Then he asked me what I thought about toys. I was like, where's my other shoe? And allow yourself to gain an understanding of why they enjoy that. What do you mean? What kind of toys? Now there's a spectrum of toys. I've dabbled. I want to know what we're dealing with. Are we talking about like handcuffs or more wrist cuffs, like whips, chains, like that stuff? Like there's familiarity there. I can like kind of get out of these. So don't come at them from a critical place, because that will make them shut down. To them, it's a signal that you're not interested in that and that it's almost shameful. Once they see that reaction from you, they probably won't bring it up again. Things might be okay for a while, but eventually that will start to become a hard point in the relationship because they may build up resentment. They also might think that if you're ashamed of them for liking those things, that maybe you're ashamed of them for other things. If you or your partner have the kink blueprint, just really be open. Just have an open mind to hear them. Now we're talking. Like, you don't have to act on that, but be able to have a conversation. For them to come out and tell you some of their fantasies or what turns them on in the kink realm, that's a big deal for them. They're not doing it to see if you're in, they're doing it because that is how they express their intimacy and they want to know how you feel about that. I have fallen down a rabbit hole that I was not expecting to fall down. The last energetic blueprint is the shapeshifter. Shapeshifter! The shapeshifter is kind of like the wild card. They can get aroused by all the above. So they could identify with energetic, with sensual, with sexual, and with kink. But one of the issues with a shapeshifter, it can be that they often tend to take on their partner's erotic blueprint because they know that it satisfies them. And as the shapeshifter, it's just easier, it can be easier for them to adapt rather than to say like, hey, this is what I want, because they do want to make their partner happy. They tend to need alone time to recalibrate, to sync up to themselves, and maybe that means that they need to pleasure themselves separately outside of you, just like not with another partner, on their own, and just allow themselves to fully immerse themselves in their erotic blueprint with no judgment. Maybe that translate into watching porn by themselves in the genre that they're interested in, and it's not a knock against their partner, it is just what they're doing to get in touch with themselves. Like, it doesn't mean that they find the people in the porn like attractive or they find their partner any less attractive. It's just more of a cleansing for them to tap in, pun intended, to themselves. And I know that like porn and watching porn can be a hard topic for some people. That's what I have to say about shapeshifters, is that they have their own sexual rituals, so to say. And again, they should communicate that with your partner. Like, using the example of porn, if porn is what you do to like recalibrate yourself, that's actually how I started to get into that, was by watching it with my partners. Yeah, so those are some things to try. And now you know about erotic blueprints and love languages, and it's super important to know your own love language and to know your erotic blueprint, because it'll give you a whole new understanding as to why you communicate with love and with sex the way that you do. And once you know what your partner's is, you'll be able to find the common ground and how to make love languages work or the erotic blueprints work. Just because I'm an energetic doesn't mean that I'm going to seek another energetic person to be my sexual partner. I'm more energetic, and I dated someone who was very sensual. Having a sensual partner when you're an energetic is a beautiful thing, because sensual is all about enticing you with the senses. You can take it slow, you can feel the nice subtle touch. It doesn't have to be like a hard touch, but even just like light nails. And for an energetic, that's gonna be fire. And now you're gonna be able to learn all this about yourself. Now that I'm aware and I know mine, I can see, because I know the characteristics of the other ones, even without my partner taking the quiz or whoever I'm interacting with. I can pick up on their love language, and I know how to communicate with them in a way that will mean something to them. So I want you to take both the love language and the erotic blueprint quizzes if you haven't taken it, and find out what you are. Comment if you feel comfortable sharing what your love language and erotic blueprint is, just because I think that's fun to share, and it's a good conversation. If you don't want to do it here on the YouTube video, go over to the Facebook group and drop it in our private top secret exclusive group. It's not really top secret because I told you about it, but it is a private group. I approve everyone personally. Don't discriminate if you're like male, female, and you want to be in it. Cool. I just want to know that you're going to be respectful of everyone's space and privacy when you're in the group. So I realized that I didn't say what the prosperity kriya did. I mean, it's in the name. It's prosperity will bring luck and good fortune to you, and you can use it especially when you're trying to focus on bringing something in. And to close out, this next kriya is going to be about bringing in more self-love. And it's suggested to do this for 11 minutes. We're only going to go for 3 minutes. You're going to take your right hand and hold it about 5 to 9 inches above your head, and your palm face down. So this is imagining that you're self-balancing your aura. And your left hand is going to come out to the side, palm and forearm face forward, and your upper arm is going to be next to your rib cage. It doesn't need to touch, but that's just where it will hang. You close the eyes, roll the eyes up and back. We're going to inhale for 20 seconds, hold for 20 seconds, and exhale for 20 seconds. So we're completing 1 full breath each minute. And let's get ready to start. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. Inhale. Your left hand is facing out as though you're blessing the world. So your right hand is balancing the aura while you're also blessing the world. Thanking the world, being gracious for everything you have, everything that surrounds you, for supporting you. And hold. Exhale. hold. Exhale, bring the right hand so that it mirrors the left side, both palms face out. Receiving the energy, spin the palms in towards one another. Bring the thumb and pinky to touch, making the lotus mudra. Inhale as you lift your fingertips up to the sky. Place the lotus on your head. Inhale, soaking up all the knowledge from the cosmos. Inhale and hold for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, let it go. Guide the hands back to the heart center. Thank you all for allowing me to guide you in these breath meditations. Light me, season eyes, light all of you. Namaste. Okay, let me know what you thought about that. That ends our episode for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this episode of Pillow Talk with Kate Eipel. I am a mindset and self-love relationship coach. I work with women and also men and empowering them to, 1, rock their single life. We destigmatize the shame around being single and learn to embrace it and how to use that time to manifest soul connections, whether that's our soul friends or our soul mates, and also preparing to bring in our divine partner. If you're interested in that, check out the link below and you can sign up for a one-on-one free coaching call with me. And we'll see if what you're looking for aligns with the transformations that I help guide people through. Thank you once again for joining in tonight. I appreciate you. And our next episode is going to be on celibacy. So tune in next Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you all. Have a beautiful evening and a wonderful week ahead. And this is why you guys didn't go to the fashion.